Good evening, barflies and lounge lizards, and welcome to the Atomic Snack Bar. And being another month with 5 Fridays, we're going to talk a bit about video rental stores and my memories of them. I really have such a fondness, and I'm sure many of you do as well, for that magical time. There was just nothing quite like walking into the video store on a Friday afternoon and picking out the weekend's viewing. The rows and rows of tapes. And in these pre-internet days, so often you would discover movies you never knew existed as the video market boomed. Some of my fondest childhood memories are of those hours spent lurking in the video aisles. The first video rental shop, sorta, opened in Germany in 1975, renting out Super 8 films, and would eventually move to video disc and VHS. The first video store in the US, Video Station, opened in 1977 in Los Angeles. Funnily, in those early days, Universal and Disney filed a lawsuit against Sony, hoping to ban the sale of VCRs. Video rentals were a big part of my life early on. My parents bought a Betamax in the early 80s. It was a big top loader with a wired remote control, and we started renting movies for it not long after. But from what I recall, we didn't get a chain video store for some time. Our first regular rental spot was an electronics store called Robinson's. I remember it well, from the RCA dog statue at the entrance to that 1980s electronics store smell. And yeah, they just had a certain unique smell. But I digress. This video isn't about me creepily smelling businesses. That's next weekend. In the back of the store were 2 long rows of movies. VHS on one side, Beta on the other. But very quickly I started to see that Beta probably wasn't the best choice. The VHS section continued to grow, whereas the Beta section, not so much. I would look over at the VHS section, longing in my sad little mutant eyes, not really understanding why those cooler movies over there wouldn't work on our machine. So I'd pick up The Beast Within for the 12th time, not renting it because it looked too scary. But with how expensive Betamax was, it cost more than my parents paid when they bought me from the circus, they were a bit hesitant to buy yet another video machine. Eventually they did though, and a whole new world of movie watching opened up. But before I leave Betamax, I remember the very last movie I ever rented for it, and that was The Day Time Ended from 1980. Seeing that cover with the monsters on it, that was all I needed. Once we finally got a VCR, the video rental boom was in full swing. It was that glorious time when video rental sections started popping up all over the place. One of our main rental spots at the time was a nearby gas station we passed by nearly every day. Right by the front door, they had a small rack of probably 50 or so videos. But because they were a small place, they didn't want to pay the big bucks for movies they rented out. It was mostly obscure titles and B-movies. One of which that I rented was Burial Ground from 1981. Yeah, that one was a bit much for me then. If only I knew then the power of Pietro.
What's wrong? I'm your son!
Exhausting that supply fairly quickly, we started renting from our first standalone mom-and-pop video store. I forget the name, but it was a small place located in a strip mall which also contained a pet store with a toucan in the window, a skate shop, and an arcade that was open until 1 every night. During the summer, my dad would take me there to play games. Turns out, it was actually just a front for a drug dealing operation. I guess that's why I explained why it was basically just me and my dad playing games and a bunch of scuzzy weirdos hanging out in the back. Man, I love those dark, shady arcade days nearly as much as the video shop days. Something about possibly getting stabbed whilst playing Altered Beast really ramped up the excitement. But I recall 2 distinct things about that small video store. First, seeing a paper ad for that little line of Barbarians clothing. It was my first exposure to the film, which I wouldn't actually see until a few years later. And second was renting the My Pet Monster movie. And as we did with movies back then, I watched it several times over the weekend. You paid your money, you were darn sure getting your money's worth. That's one that needs a Blu-ray release. I'd like to see it again. From there, we finally started going to a chain store, and that was Movie Gallery. And it was by far the best video store my hometown ever had to offer. It was there in the early 90s that I first discovered anime as its own distinct thing. It was spring break of either 91 or 92. They got a small anime section, probably 20 titles, most of which were Streamline Pictures releases. And I rented almost everything they had, including the Lensman animated film. And it's really here in the early 90s when the strongest of my video store memories really start. I remember so many summer nights, spending the evening at the pool, and then going from the pool to the video store. And I'll wrap this up here. It's probably gone longer than it should for a filler video anyway, but if you folks enjoyed this one, perhaps I'll do a second part. Go up to my final video store, 2020 Video off the Sunset Strip in Hollywood. And that's all the time we have for this weekend. Please like, comment, subscribe, watch skies, and stay atomic. Oh, and hype, and keep it wacky.
The magic of the movies is yours at Video World Superstores, the area's largest video store. With Video World's free membership, you'll discover more movies and more copies of the hits, so you're sure to get that new release fast. And our Kitty Corner is a great time for the kids while Mom and Dad shop around. You can also rent video games by Nintendo. Oh no! Video World Superstores in Albany, Amsterdam, and Gloversville. It's magic.